Lossett. He is on your right, number 4 on our SCG Tour Player of the Year race against Stuart Brooks. Miracles, Blue-Red Delver. Both these players 5-1, very much in day 2 contention, and we'll see who walks away with a W here.
Yeah, it's going to be important for Stuart to come out of the gates really fast. Obviously, counterbalance is a big problem for decks that only play 1 and 2 drops. So we'll see if he's able to put some pressure on the board and then use his disruption to maximum effect.
Sometimes in these Blue-Red Delver decks, you'll see a card like True Name Nemesis.
Yep.
None of those here. You mentioned all 1 and 2 mana spells, and that is correct here for Stuart Brooks. Young Pyromancer, a couple copies of that. Storm Chaser Mage even has 1 Snapcaster Mage. His deck is a lot more burn focused. 4 Lightning Bolt, 2 Chain Lightning, a Fork Bolt, 3 Price of Progress, and a Fire Ice. So we'll see if he's able to burn Joe Lossett out here or not. These players are going to be given the green light, and we are going to get ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, we were talking about the basic lands and miracles kind of insulating you against Wasteland and Blood Moon. Also, Price of Progress. This is the second deck we've seen with Price of Progress in the main deck.
It's an expedition, Craig.
It is. It is both beautiful and terrible at the same time.
It's a Flooded Strand.
It could be anything.
That one's a Flooded Strand.
It looks like someone spilled a jar of ink on the card.
So beautiful up close.
Yeah.
So ugly far away. Here is a Delver of Secrets. And Joe's going to take a look at his hand. He now knows what he's up against. Let's go back over to the Miracle Man. He will play an island. Is it counterbalance time? Could sacrifice this Flooded Strand, search up a basic island if you'd like, but we're going to follow Joe along the path. He's going to teach us how to do miracles right. He'll start with a Brainstorm.
Yeah, and you'll never see any panic in Joe.
Ever.
Yeah. He knows how to pace the game properly. He knows when it's critical to get a creature off the board. He knows when he can sacrifice his life total as a resource. And it's really a treat watching that.
Second place at Grand Prix Columbus earlier this year with Infect as well. This guy knows his way around a Miracles deck. That's for sure. We've seen it mostly on the SCG Tour, but even the Legacy Grand Prix that he gets the opportunity to play, and he typically does very, very well at. Going to search up a Plains with the Flooded Strand, simply pass the turn back. Delver of Secret's going to take a look. It will not transform for Stuart Brooks. Just a boring old 1-1 right now.
Stuart doing a good job of being cagey here, keeping his hand hidden from us.
Yeah, if you want to see, you're not going to get the chance. It's got a Force of Will. He might have another Expedition. Oh, yeah.
Yep, that could be anything.
There's a Monastery Swiftspear. That one's a Misty Rainforest. And he will sacrifice it. What? I got it all figured out here. We're good.
One of my favorite cards is the San Diego Comic-Con Planeswalkers. But on camera, it just looks like a black box. Like,
it is actually, if you hold one or something, they're like the nicest cards ever.
They're so pretty.
They're seriously the nicest cards ever.
But from 4 feet away or more, you're just like, what is that?
This is the Chain Lightning after Monastery Swiftspear did have the opportunity to resolve. So looking to get a Prowess trigger here and a little bit more damage through a Stuart Brooks. Swords of Plowshares will take care of the Swiftspear, or at least try to. I believe this will be with the Prowess trigger on the stack.
Yep.
Will this resolve is the question. The answer is yes. Now Chain Lightning will resolve, and now Delver will come across. To Joe we go. He'll draw. Not a miracle. Going to sacrifice a Scalding Tarn very quickly. It'll be a basic island.
Now, he went through the trouble of getting his White Border Islands signed.
Yes.
Does that help his case at all?
So it's gotten to the point now with Joe. I've known Joe via the SCG Tour and Magic in general for about 6 years now. Joe with the white basic lands doesn't bother me at all.
Okay,
because I'm just used to it.
It's his thing.
It's his thing. Everyone else doing the white basic lands, it's not okay.
So once you reach a certain level, you get a pass.
Well, he started this,
Okay.
in my opinion. He started this. It's tried and true. These are the lands he grew up playing with. Totally fine.
Are there people? So there are certain things that get under my skin.
Okay.
When people play their lands in front and the creatures in back.
I can't stand it.
What?
I can't stand that.
But when the lands go into combat against each other, they're closer.
Yeah.
But yeah, that bothers me to no end.
Yeah.
And is there anyone you would give a pass for something like that?
Ooh, so lands in front, spells in back, no pass.
No one.
No pass.
Okay.
That one I can't let go. Here's a brainstorm from Joe. I think Luis does that, or did do that before they changed the rule. So I like Luis a lot. Still probably a no pass.
Sure. No.
Still
Yeah.
probably no pass. Yeah.
Well, and he's so visible. I feel like the bar would be very high.
But I can't remember. I can't for whatever reason I'm blanking. I can't remember if Luis was pro or anti lands in the front, spells in the back. Here's a Terminus. He will pay the miracle cost, will Joe, as he's already down to 8. The Delver has been handled. And now the trick, if you're Joe, is all right, I've taken care of the annoying threats, at least up until this point. I'm at 8. Do not get burned out.
Yeah.
He's going to play a Scalding Tarn. He will sacrifice 1.
Yeah, well, he's only gotten basic lands. And his opponent revealed the price of progress off of the Delver, so he's aware of that.
I think he's going to search for a 4th basic island. That's all 4 in the deck. He's also got 2 basic planes. Now, one of the things about Joe's build, he does play 2 Tundras, 2 Volcanics, and 2 Karakas, but he plays a healthy amount of fetch lands. He's got 9 in his main deck. Now I think we're going to see him go towards Jace, and we are. We will see if this resolves. It's a Force of Will, removing a Force of Will. Counterbalance trigger. Flooded Strand is the reveal. No good. Now, Joe does have a Force of Will in hand. Does he want to fight back? The answer is yes. Force of Will removing. Force of Will. He's going to fall down to 5. Jace will resolve.
And this is where Joe wants to be with the Miracles deck. You know, he's out of the range of a single burn spell. He has a powerful card on the board with Jace, and he is clearly in the driver's seat.
He's at 5, though.
But he is at 5.
Yep. Now, Price of Progress, he's done a great job of fading. That's not even a card anymore. 1 mana burn spells like Lightning Bolt and Chain Lightning, those are a little bit more worrisome. Heck, even Fork Bolt right now is a little bit problematic.
Yeah, and a Swift Spear into any of those cards is game over.
Yep, that's bad news, too. Stuart Brooks will draw a card. Lossett has a Force of Will in hand, but no other card. This is 2 mana. This is a Young Pyromancer. Counterbalance trigger. Snapcaster Mage.
Had him the whole time.
Mm-hmm. Now Brooks is going to sacrifice one of those fetch lands. That looks to be a Scalding Tarn. And see what land he wants to search up. It's a basic mountain. It'll be a Chain Lightning. And he's going to use that to take care of Jace. Okay. So Lossett still stays at 5, and his very powerful Planeswalker has been taken care of.
Yeah, this is super interesting game here.
Snapcaster Mage and Force of Will in Lossett's hand.
Yep. And the Snapcaster into the Brainstorm, obviously very good.
Mm-hmm. Brooks is just going to pass the turn back. Lossett's not even going to make a move. Going to draw a Flooded Strand. Might not play that one.
Well, he wants the second white source. It's good for Entreat the Angels. It's good for Terminus.
Mm-hmm. Lossett will draw. I think he may have picked up a Karakas. So now we're going to play a little bit of draw go into the mid game here. That's a volcanic island. There's Delver Secrets. Is it time for Joe to make a move now is the question.
Yeah, Joe has a lot of options here. He can just try to counter it with the counterbalance blind. And if that doesn't work, he still has the Force of Will that he could hardcast. Or he can go Snapcaster Mage, Brainstorm, try to set up the top of my deck with a 1-drop. Oh, that's a good one.
How about that?
The best possibles?
Yeah, Sensei Tiny Top is what I would consider to be the best possible.
Yeah.
That's what Joe will draw.
And now with the top, he just needs to find a 2-drop in the top 3 cards or with the Brainstorm at some point, and he'll always have 1 and 2 to counter spells for the rest of the game.
Well, there is the top. And now we're going to head back over to Stuart Brooks. Brooks will draw. He'll simply pass the turn back. Now this is quite clearly a very hard card for Stuart Brooks to beat, like this combination of cards. This is what Lossett was looking for to put together the matchup. Mentioned now he needs to find a 2-drop. Here to really, really make this difficult to break through.
But and he has a fetch land for the redraws to the 2-drop if he needs to. Looked like a Jace. Maybe not.
Brooks will draw. There's Vendilion Click. And we're going to target Stuart Brooks. Price of Progress, Monastery Swiftspear, Daze, Delver Secrets, and a second Price of Progress is the hand here. So to say that Joe Lossett has done a nice job around Price of Progress is an understatement.
Yeah.
And remember, Stuart Brooks is playing 3 copies of that card.
Yeah, a little bit unlucky to end up with those both in his hand. And his opponent with no non-basics that he can get him with. Stuart offering.
You want to take one of these?
Yeah, the Price of Progress, right?
No, you're okay. Joe going to spin the top now. Jace among those cards, another Caracas as well. He will untap, he will draw. It looks like a Jace. Vendilion Click might be clear for takeoff here. I think we know Jace is clear for takeoff.
Yep.
So he will play the Mind Sculptor. And Lossett will Fate Seal, targeting his opponent, given that he is working with very good information, and now it borders on perfect as Ponder is the top card.
He's got the 2-pronged attack here with the Planeswalker going up and the opponent's life total going down.
Yep. This is the dream.
And you can see Joe's experience here. He doesn't even think about the Brainstorm off the Planeswalker. Just immediately starts taking up. He knows he already has all the pieces that he needs, and now the most important thing is just close out the game as fast as possible.
This is Monastery Swiftspear. Counterbalance trigger, you have to imagine it's on the stack. Joe typically not one to miss that.
Yeah.
He will sacrifice a Flooded Strand. He will fall down to 4. I think we're going to see the other basic planes here in just a moment. Yes.
You're a sharp cookie.
It was the Noodles and Company.
Yeah.
It's keeping me going.
Oh, the mac and cheese party.
It was a great party. Spin the top now. There's a Brainstorm in there. He's going to leave that on top. Take care of the Swiftspear. I think Brooks may have wanted to potentially respond. Not sure. Not a ton for him to respond to. So,
well, yeah, it's unclear. There's a little bit of shortcutting there. Joe activated the top and then, just resolved it pretty quick. I don't know if that's where Stuart wanted to pause the action.
Stuart saying that Joe did not announce the trigger for counterbalance. Yeah, he'll reveal a Brainstorm. Yep, so it's taken care of. I've got this all cleared up. Brooks will just pass the turn back. A lot of hands waving.
Yep.
Yeah. Will Ferrell, what am I supposed to do with my hands?
Some gesticulating.
Yeah. What am I supposed to do with these? Joe can untap. He'll draw. Jace going up. Top card. Force of Will. Don't care about that. I got all I need on the board already. Thank you. In comes Vendilion. Click. Brooks is going to fall down to 11. Lossett will pass the turn back. Brooks will draw.
Yeah. Force of Will doesn't stop counterbalance.
No, it does not. Another 1-mana spell. Reveal Brainstorm. No, thank you.
Oh, he had it again.
Yes.
Just so lucky.
So lucky, yes. Lossett, ready to spin. Might just play a Snapcaster Mage instead. Yes, he will. Wants to increase the clock. And now he will play a Brainstorm. Brainstorm will resolve.
And Stuart, if he's familiar with this matchup and Joe in particular, he probably just wants to pack it up at this point, leave as much time as possible for the next 2 games.
That's what I would do.
Yeah.
I would say we're all done here. Joe getting a good look at an expedition there.
Yeah, the old double check on the expedition.
Which one's that?
What did you spill on your cards? Oh, it costs twice as much.
Yes, yes it does. Joe might be playing another top here in just a moment, but what I can tell you is that there is at least a 1-mana spell on top of Joe's deck. The 2-mana spells that Stuart Brooks has access to in Price of Progress are as blank as can be. And he might try another 1-mana spell.
Let's feel him out.
So I respect this.
Yes.
If you're going to go out, it's on your terms.
Yeah.
Price of Progress is symmetrical, and Stuart Brooks loses game 1. Joe Lossett does not win game 1. Stuart Brooks loses game 1.
Well, he took down Stuart Brooks
That's
in game
correct.
1.
So Joe Lossett, by pure happenstance, wins game number 1 over Stuart Brooks. Miracles, Blue-Red Delver, getting ready for game number 2.
Yeah, just a happy side effect for him.
Oh, 13 1-0s for Stuart Brooks. This is one of my favorite parts about Legacy.
Yep.
I get to take a look at the sideboards. They're all over the place. So now the 2 Blood Moons, well, that's the easy part. He's got 2 of those. Now the 1-ofs. A Pivot Needle, a Grafdigger's Cage, a Dismember, a Surgical Extraction, a Pyroblast, a Flusterstorm, a Spell Pierce, a True Name Nemesis, a Bedlam Reveler, a Grim Lavamancer, a Sulfur Elemental, a Shattering Spree, and a Smash to Smithereens. So what do we like here, Craig?
Sure. Well, the Pithing Needle is an easy inclusion. Some of these other cards, the Pyroblast is obviously quite good against all the blue spells that your opponent's going to be playing. The Spell Pierce seems very good in this matchup. I don't know if he wants a card like Bedlam Reveler here. A lot of these other cards, maybe Sulfur Elemental if he thinks his opponent's going to have Monastery Mentor.
I kind of want Sulfur Elemental because it's uncounterable-ish.
Sure.
Uncounterable-ish.
Ish, yep.
That'd be the only reason I really want. I mean, end of turn, little Sulfur Elemental. Maybe it's something that Joe's not prepared for.
Yeah.
So I might be okay with that. It is obviously good against Monastery Mentor. So Joe doesn't have any of those. He does have 3 Flusterstorms, 2 Red Elemental Blast, 2 Back to Basics, 2 Moat, 2 Surgical Extraction along with a Wear Tear, a Kozilek's Return, Engineer Explosives, and a Pyroblast.
Yeah, so we might see just a smattering of some of these cards. A couple of these Red Blasts might come in. They're pretty good. The Engineer Explosives, the Kozilek's Return, kill everything on the opposing side of the board, but not big changes. I don't know if Moat comes into matchups like this. I doubt it. It's kind of expensive for this type of matchup. It doesn't stop the Flyers.
Yeah, it is expensive. It is. If you take a look at Stuart's deck list, doesn't stop a Transform Delver, doesn't stop Storm Chaser Mage, even though Joe didn't see that. Stops Swift Spear, stops Pyromancer, stops Snapcaster Mage, but I think Joe's got enough ways to take care of those.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to go towards a Moat, but we'll see what he decides. He is the Miracle Man after all. Game number 2 about to be underway here, so we will talk about the invitational qualifiers with Star City Games, very popular in-store programs that you can get at your local store if you'd like. We've changed them up for 2017 a bit, so you can find more about that over at starcitygames.com, but for 2016, invitational qualifications, playmat, top 8 pins, invitational winner tokens, SCG premium vouchers, and a whole lot of fun at your local store. Go to starcitygames.com/IQ to learn more information about those programs this year and for next year with the SCG Tour, as we now take a moment to learn a little bit more about the player on your right. That is Joe Lossett, number 4 on our Player of the Year leaderboard, is a 37-year-old from Redlands, California. 21.
21.
SCG Tour Open top age. Yes, 21.
I'm right in that ballpark, right?
What? How many do you have?
I've maybe one.
Only one?
I don't know.
I'd take the over on one. I figured you might have like 3 or 4. Like, I have 3. I don't ever play.
Well, apparently, I guess I don't ever play either.
You have an invitational top 8.
I do.
Joe's got 2, so you can catch him there.
Yeah, I'm right in.
You can catch him on the invitational top 8.
Right in that race.
That's the plan. He follows StarCraft 2 as closely as he follows Magic. He was a varsity rower over at the University of Colorado, and he loves himself some Star Wars, which is pretty good for him since they keep making a bunch of those movies now.
Yeah.
Like prequels and side versions and stuff. I'm not a Star Wars person. So.
No, that's fine, but they're good. All those movies now, they're well done. To me, in the past, when a movie would come out, just thinking about the early like Batman movies and stuff like that, and then they would come out with one for Catwoman, and you're just like, what are they doing? You know what I mean? You understand what I'm saying?
How dare you talk about Halle Berry's Catwoman movie like that? How dare you?
Yeah, it's just terrible.
It is one of the worst movies of all time.
Just terrible. Now, just every movie that comes out, I could see going to the theater and watching it and enjoying myself.
For those of you who are looking for truly horrible film experiences, the Catwoman basketball scene, it's seriously as bad as you think it is currently, but in reality, it's actually much worse than that. Just look it up. I know you've got YouTube. You're watching this on the internet. Look it up on your phone after this round's over. Don't leave the broadcast now. Look it up afterward. Catwoman basketball scene. Then let me know how you feel about that.
Cinematic masterpiece.
Yes, absolutely. Stuart Brooks is going to start things off with a Gataxian Probe and a Delver of Secrets. Joe is going to sacrifice his Scalding Tarn. Might see him search for a blue-red land here. Perhaps he has a blast effect.
Well, it's kind of funny. After the first game, the price of progress went so bad for Stuart, he probably just sided them out.
So this allows Joe to maybe potentially aggressively search up his non-basic lands.
Yeah, and if Joe was thinking, hey, this guy probably just sided these out, they were so bad for him, then he just, free reign to search up whatever lands he wants.
It's a flooded strand here for Brooks. We'll see if he's got anything else to do on this particular turn.
Well, he better hope so.
Yeah, I got to get some sort of creature out here if he can. He's going to start with a Brainstorm. He's already played a Flooded Strand. Now he'll draw 3 cards, and he will add these to his hand, and then eventually put 2 back.
Yeah, wait until 3 or 4 to get set up against a deck that has Terminus and Jace the Mind Sculptor and Entreat the Angels. Not a winning strategy, so he's got to get something on the board now.
2 cards back. We head back over to Joe Lossett. He'll draw. Picked up a copy of Counterbalance. That's a good one in this matchup. There's your island. Here is your Counterbalance. Will it resolve is the question. Stuart Brooks would like it not to resolve. So much, in fact, he's going to use 2 cards to try to stop it. Force of Will, exiling Gataxian Probe, also paying a life. Counterbalance is taken care of.
Yeah, and if you're Joe, that's a win either way.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. This every time that exchange happens, or at least a high percentage of the time that exchange happens, you're probably pretty happy if you're Joe.
Yeah.
Here's a Brainstorm. 3 cards yet again here for Brooks. 2 will go back. Fire Ice among the cards he has drawn.
Fire Ice is not a card I can get behind right now. Just seems like if you want to play Fork Bolt, you just play 1 or 2 Fork Bolts. If you want something that cantrips, you play a 1-mana cantrip.
Fire Ice is too expensive for your taste?
I just can't see showing up to an event with Fire Ice.
Sure.
And even Fork Bolt, if I really want to burn my opponent out, I just show up with Chain Lightnings.
Yeah.
I mean, Fork Bolt has a lot of utility to it. It's great against Elves, Young Pyromancer.
Might kill 2 creatures against Death and Taxes. I think those instances are pretty few and far between.
No, it might, but that's my point. I can see playing that card sometimes.
Sure.
Fire Knight, it's really hard for me to endorse that one.
The Brainstorm is done. We head back over to Joe. Joe will draw. Scalding Tarn.
He's got to feel pretty good about where this game's been going so far.
Here's the Sensei's Divining Top. Top is going to resolve. That's kind of step 1 to this whole thing for Lossett. Brooks will play Volcanic Island, simply pass the turn back.
Yeah, I'm surprised he hasn't used that fetch land. He's cast 2 different Brainstorms,
Yes.
and he's still been passing the turns without advancing his board.
Perhaps his hand is quite good.
Yeah, I mean, potentially it could just be a pile of burn spells, and he's thinking that he's going to just start throwing fire at his opponent.
Tough to do from 19.
But it's tough to do from 19.
Yeah. Before you draw, he would like to activate the Sensei's Divining Top. So this might actually be in the draw step. Might involve Vendilion Click here. Remember, Joe plays a lot of creatures in his deck. Yeah, so it's in the draw step, Vendilion Click.
See, and this is why you play Fire Ice. The perfect spot.
It is. It is a good spot.
This is why I stand behind cards like Fire Ice.
Yeah. Totally reasonable. Totally reasonable. Now, the first question, so you see the confusion here, because first of all, Joe's wondering, is this resolving?
Yeah.
Which they did not clarify.
Yeah,
now,
if it resolves, Joe has to choose which player he's targeting.
Correct. So it is going to resolve, and Joe's saying, it's important to clarify this because I'm targeting myself, not you. Joe also doesn't want his opponent to show him his hand.
Well, and if Joe is targeting himself.
Which it looks like, okay, so he's targeting his opponent.
Okay.
He's just being very clear through the steps of what's happening.
Yeah.
Flusterstorm, Lightning Bolt, Ponder, and
Sulfur
I think that is Sulfur Elemental.
Okay.
The jig is kind of up on that one now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Still want to just get that guy on the board.
Yeah.
Can't save him for next game.
Joe's going to let him keep those.
Yeah.
That's bad news. Is it time to cast this Ponder? Looks like it might be. Going to sacrifice a Flooded Strand. Will Brooks fall down to 17?
And one of the things that Joe has done here, he's made his opponent use his mana on the opposing turn, and now he's going to have an open window to try to resolve this Jace his turn. You know, if Joe plays Jace next turn, his opponent can't slam Sulfur Elemental and then just immediately swing to kill it.
Mm-hmm. So he's kind of, honestly, pulling his opponent along for the ride.
Yeah.
Which is never a spot you want to be in when you're playing against Miracles, playing into exactly what they want you to play into. Ponder is going to be kept here with Stuart Brooks. He's drawn his card. He is fully tapped out as we head back over to Lossett. Lossett has drawn a top. Lossett is going to try to resolve a counterbalance. It is in. How about a top?
Yeah, this is a problem.
This is not good for Stuart Brooks.
Yeah.
Not good at all. The 1-2 punch of Miracles is here again.
Well, and this time Joe's at 18 instead of 5.
Mm-hmm. Lossett will sacrifice the Scalding Tarn, fall down to 17, get a Volcanic Island. And Brooks is going to draw and I think pass very quickly?
Yeah.
Is what that looked like? I think with the plan of Sulfur Elementaling. Lossett will spin the top. Flusterstorm in there.
Yep, looked like a Flusterstorm, Engineered Explosives, and maybe another top?
There's EE. Pass the turn back. Sulfur Elemental probably on the way. No time like the present. Split second still triggers counterbalance and 3 mana. Thanks. And treat them their angels. Yep. Yeah, so counterbalance is weird in the fact that it does interact favorably with split second.
Well,
in a way.
Yeah.
In a way.
But I mean, Joe knew that was going to happen.
Yeah.
You know, you have to be playing one step ahead.
Yes.
And Joe is always playing 3 steps ahead, so.
For those of you who have ever had the counterbalance Crows and Grip tug of war, where you think your opponent has a 3, and you're trying to figure out when the best time to do this is, yeah, you know all about this. Ponder. This feels unlikely. Lossett will spin the top. Entreat the Angels is 1. Flusterstorm's in there as well. The other card is a Scalding Tarn. Trigger. Bang. Goodbye, Ponder. And now the sleeper hold is really starting to come in now.
Yep.
Really locking it in. Lossett will spin. I think he's going to want to draw the land. That's the third card. Yeah, the Scalding Tarn. So he'll do a little bit of rearranging here. Scalding Tarn's on top of the deck now. He'll draw. Picked up the Tarn.
And he's made this game look so easy.
He typically does when he plays Miracles. Yeah. He typically does.
You know, he can't actually win for another 12 turns or so, but it doesn't matter when you can't lose.
Yeah. He'll win eventually, right? I think he just found a Jace. That's certainly one way to do it.
Well, he already had one.
Now he's just trying to figure out the right time to cast it.
Yeah, it's all gravy. You like gravy?
Who doesn't like gravy?
Everyone likes gravy.
Everyone likes gravy. Much like when you're supposed to cast a Jace, it's just when you're supposed to eat the gravy.
Yeah.
That's all. Can't have it all the time. Can have it a lot of the time.
Yeah, apparently Joe can have it all the time.
It's Jace time. I think we might see the Mind Sculptor resolve here in just a moment, and we do. Starts on 3. Will he start Fate Sealing? See, unlike Shaheen, Joe actually uses all the pieces of the buffalo with Jace.
Yeah. Well, and Joe, he has both options. He can try to start Fate Sealing here, or he can go the Brainstorm route when he has an Entreat the Angels available to him.
Joe's going to start by sacrificing the Scalding Tarn, and we might see Stuart Brooks respond with a Lightning Bolt, which for some reason I believe is exactly what Joe wants him to do. Just want to make sure they know where they are in the turn.
Lots of hand waving.
Yeah, a lot of hand waving, a lot of Will Ferrelling.
Yeah, they're being very clear here.
All right, trigger. He has the Flusterstorm on top,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yep.
Because it's not amateur hour. Joe obviously set things up in a way.
Yeah, he's not going to have to shuffle away his top here.
Yep.
I mean, that's the hope, right? If you're on the other side.
The hope is that Joe made a mistake playing Miracles. Not a great thing to hope for.
The reality, it's Joe playing Miracles.
Yeah. There's a basic island. Stuart's got to give it his best go there, obviously.
Of course.
Hope that he made a mistake. But
yeah, he doesn't have a lot of other avenues here that he can take.
And now Joe will Brainstorm. Spell Snare among the cards. We'll see what 2 Lossett's going to put back here from the Jace Brainstorm in just a second.
Looks like they might have been confirming life totals with the judge there after the fetch lands.
1, 2 have gone back. Keep in mind Joe had not played a land yet this turn. And now we go to Brooks. Force of Will to draw. A Mystery Enforced land, pass the turn back. This is that hopeless feeling.
Yes. Yeah.
It's not a great feeling. Lossett's going to untap. He'll draw.
Looking at the opponent's Jace counterbalance, top 5 cards in hand, 6 or 7 lands in play.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
That feeling. Lossett will spin top yet again. Brainstorm and Jace among those cards. And he's Fate Sealing himself. Put the top card to the bottom. Pass the turn back. We head back over to Stuart Brooks. Brooks will draw.
All right, Stuart. It's a setup. Spring the trap on him.
The Lean and Blade Trap?
Whatever the trap is.
You want me to play Lean and Blade Trap?
The old pit trap?
Ooh, Pit Trap's nice.
Classic.
What's the best trap in Magic history?
Mind break trap.
All right, that's probably true. Better than Ravenous Trap, probably. Mind Break Trap's probably better.
I mean, this is very context dependent.
It's a very small number of traps in Magic, I think.
Well, they printed a whole series of traps.
Well, yeah, they have the trap cycle, but for the most part, not a lot of great traps, as Stuart is going to sacrifice a fetch land here.
And this is not one of the great traps
No,
what we're watching here.
No.
Yeah, I feel for Stuart. I've been in this position where, you know, the Miracles player just gets set up, and you feel obligated to just keep going through the motions, but, you know, pretty hopeless.
It's not great. It's not great. And you can tell with the smile, he knows it.
Yeah.
He's playing out the home stretch and really hoping something goes wrong for Joe, which is less than 1%.
Oh, yeah, way less. Especially every turn that goes by.
Also, I keep forgetting that Joe's just at 16.
Yeah, Joe's hand just gets better and better every single turn.
Here's a Brainstorm. But this is why Lossett continues to play this deck. First of all, he's the best Miracles player we see on the SCG Tour. He can play the deck fast enough to get the job done, which a lot of players can't. And he's just been playing this deck for, I think we might be on 3 years now.
Yeah. And I think over that time, his pace has picked up. You know, he's gotten more familiar with a lot of the situations. And I think he also has just made a conscious decision that he's going to play faster. He's picked up some draws in the past. That's not where you want to be every tournament.
Yep.
And so he's worked on that.
Brainstorm with authority. Spin the top. Show you Wear Tear. That's a 1 and a 2. That's horrible for you. Misty Rainforest will be sacrificed here. Stuart, just get a good look, see what the top card is.
What are we really doing here?
Yeah. A basic island. You know, sometimes in Magic and in life, you just get your butt kicked.
Oh, yeah.
That's just, ask the Warriors yesterday. They just got their butt kicked.
the Warriors.
They just got their butt kicked by the Lakers. The Indians, they got their butt kicked by the Cubs.
Sometimes when you lose, you just brush yourself off, get back up, and you say, you know what? We're the Indians. This is going to happen to us.
It's totally fine.
Look at the Browns, you know? At least we're not them.
The Browns lose every week. We get our butt kicked every week. It's totally fine. Stuart, I love that he's just taking this in stride because he's getting his butt kicked.
Yeah, and we're not saying that Stuart's the Browns here.
Yeah. There's only a second loss.
Yeah.
It's not 0-7 or anything.
Oh, no, yeah, this is still a good spot to be in the event.
Yeah, totally fine. He just got beaten down from bell to bell here.
Yeah, it looked like his draw wasn't that great. You know, he had the first turn Delver, but nothing to really follow it up.
I also just don't think the matchup is good.
Oh, no. Yeah, Joe has done whatever he wanted.
Yeah. I just do not think the matchup is good. Young Pyromancer. Bang. Wear Tear's not going anywhere, Stuart. I promise you that. That card stayed on top of his deck forever. At this point, Joe could actually turn the Wear Tear face up and let him know that I'm going to keep sliding it around here, because he's never not going to do that.
Yeah, but before Joe turns his light off at night to go to sleep, he double checks to make sure the Wear Tear is on top of the Miracles deck.
That thing's not going anywhere. Stuart will draw as he's facing a Jace Ultimate here in just a moment.
And Joe did draw a moat there, so that's just a little interesting tidbit moving forward.
A little surprised to see that in the deck.
Yeah.
Chain Lightning.
Boom.
Trigger.
Boom. We're not going out like a punk.
I believe he's going to reveal Wear Tear.
That's so lucky.
Yes.
He just had it every time.
No more. That's Joe Lossett going to win this match here over Stuart Brooks. 2-0. Miracles destroys Blue Red Delver. And for Joe, number 4 on our SCG Tour Player of the Year leaderboard, he moves on to 6-1, very much in day 2 contention. And if we're being honest, very much in contention to win this tournament.